The word that I want to talk about is Achtung, A-C-H-T-U-N-G. Well, there's a couple of places you might know it from. You might know it from the U2 album, Achtung Baby. You might also know it from, if you've watched any James Bond films, often the barrier that the car crashes through has got something like Achtung on it, because it means watch out, careful, or attention. So you might also know it from sort of stereotypical Nazi films where the Nazis are barking, Achtung, attention, pay attention. Well, it can just mean watch out. You might say to a child around the house, Achtung, this is heiß, watch out, it's hot. So it can just mean, literally it means attention. The acht part is the part that means attend, and the ung is a suffix that makes it into a noun. And it's cognate with, that means it's related to, the same as ing. So it's like attending, but they just call out the noun, Achtung, attention. For us in English, Achtung has quite a lot of connotations to do with the war, to do with the Nazis. I don't think a German native speaker would think of it in that way because it's a pretty high frequency word. It just means watch out, means attend, pay attention. So it's one of those things where a word has come into English and it's got much narrower connotations than it has for German native speakers. And it's interesting that U2, when they chose their album title, Achtung Baby, those songs are inspired by the German reunification. So Achtung is like a signal word. I'm talking about German culture.
Why that word? Surely the German military and the Nazis used lots of different words in their signage and in their conversation.
I think it's the word that would often be at the beginning. So things that are salient, that stick out, are often at the beginning or at the end of sentences. That's true even when children are learning language, they attend to the beginning and ends of words and sentences. And it's the same for us. You don't understand all the rubbish that comes afterwards if you don't speak German, but you do hear this Achtung that comes at the beginning. I'm a linguist. You could look at any word from a number of different angles, and a couple of the angles I want to take are the sound of the word and the shape of the word, and then also the connotations of it. And all of those are things that a linguist might look at. One of the things that English speakers tend to think about German is that it sounds very abrupt or sharp or, quite militaristic. And part of that is just to do with the pronunciation of the word, because there's a couple of sounds in Achtung that we don't really have in English. And the first one is the ch sound, which is it's a fricative, that means it's a rubbing sound that you do in your throat. And we have it a bit in words like loch, if you say a Scottish word like loch. But it sounds a bit throaty and guttural, which is something that people often say about German. But it's just a perfectly normal sound that you find in many German words. And then the other thing that people won't even really notice as a sound so much is in front of the vowel a at the beginning. All German words that begin with a vowel start with something that's called a glottal stop, which is where the glottis or your voice box closes off. And that produces a sort of a stop sound. And I'll just do it for you so you can get the impression. Achtung. And it sounds like... we can hear it in English if you're a Cockney speaker or you listen to someone talking Cockney and they say, what a lot of bottle. When they're saying bottle rather than bottle, they're doing a really strong glottal stop and they're going bottle, like that. And every word in German that begins with a vowel has this glottal stop out the front of it. And so when you say, if I'm going to say in German, I eat an apple, ich esse einen Apfel. And there's three glottal stops there, esse einen Apfel. And that sounds to us very abrupt, and that's why the German accent sounds as it does to us. You don't often hear people saying that German is such a mellifluous language. They tend to say something more about it sounding sort of abrupt like that.
They probably don't say that because they don't know what mellifluous means. I certainly don't.
Flowing like honey. One of the things that German linguists have been really proud of about their language over the centuries is the structure of their words. And one of the things that they think makes, or they used to think in a kind of a time of great patriotism in the 17th century in particular, for example, one of the things that they felt made German great and different to, say, the Romance languages like French and Italian is that the compounds are really transparent, and so you can always see what the meaning means by the way the elements fit together. So they would say in German and in German alone you have a monosyllabic, that means just with one syllable, first element, acht, and then you have some kind of suffix at the end, ung, and you've got your word Achtung. And they say that through these processes of word formation, it's called morphology, you can make any word you want and it's immediately transparent, which is true up to a point, but they set great store by that.